All right, what's up, people? I see I only have 36 minutes that I can work on this for. Don't worry, it won't take me that long. And I need to go clean some shit out. I've actually been making a behind the scenes, well, not behind the scenes, but like a, give me a second here, hold on. My sinuses suck during the winter. But it's still, late fall, early winter is my favorite time of the year. Probably because I was born then. 1 week from today will be my birthday. I expect, nothing. Except perhaps to keep living. I got an interesting comment on the last video I did. And it wasn't Entropic Momentum's comment. Even though that was interesting as well, to which I referred him to Quine's Two Dogmas of Empiricism, and then we can get back to that. But I didn't know this, and then I went and looked it up, and yes, apparently Michael Aquino has issued, the Satanic Bible, but no, not really. And that's kind of the thing. Because you have to understand that the Satanic Bible is still copyrighted. It's still a copyrighted text. So what he's doing is, and I think this is funny, and this is kind of why, this relates to me a little bit, is because I, not too long ago, put forward something called postmodern Satanism. And from what I was able to, and I went and looked this up on Amazon, and they give you some preview. I like the fact, look, if you don't give any preview, then you're hiding something. But I did see some parallels. You see, just this part here. Just as Anton LaVey's philosophy has been superseded, so too will my own. For such is the nature of the world. No book has the power to codify reality for all times and places, whether it be called a Bible or not. And then the preview that I saw on Aquino's book was he was asking what it meant to be a Bible. And I'm like, well, is he ripping off LaVey or me? Or because I've had some back and forth with him on the 600 Club. Big time. Because, and look, it's all there. I mean, I've been banned from 600 twice. But you can find me there under Jason King or Megatron, as in the Transformer. You can search out everything that I've, and I put a lot on that site. It kind of pisses me off in a sense because a lot of this shit that I did with really smart people, I have to proxy server my way in to just look at. And I can't even that's beside the point. But I got into a lot of back and forth with this motherfucker because he's always been the person that, was claiming that his Satanism was superior to Satanism. And Satanism was just a mockery of the true religion of Satanism. The worship of Set. The principle of isolate intelligence. And I was always the one pushing back and saying, no, that Satan can be reclaimed as a mythic figure. He can be reclaimed. As a matter of fact, but you know this, if you've seen any of my videos over the course of all the times, you just fucking scroll through my shit and look for anything that has the word of Satan in it. You just fucking go from there. But what this is, this book by Aquino, and I think I might actually just order it. I'm not gonna order a lot of the critiques, and it's got a 3-star out of 5-star rating on Amazon, but I don't take any of that for, I think mine also has a 3 out of 5. Just because, people don't get shit. And I'm not going to, jump off a cliff criticizing anything that I haven't read yet. But from what I've seen is basically, this is, I think, his way of reminiscing. Because one thing you'll notice about Aquino, if you've ever like exchanged with him, and I've exchanged with him a lot, meaning on the 600 Club, and what he's very fond of reminiscing, like the good old days. And I think this is like him going back and thinking back to that time period and kind of wishing that it went a different way, because Anton LaVey was not a metaphysician. He was the opposite of that. He was the ultimate materialist, and that bothered Aquino, and that's why they ended up splitting. But this is just basically, I think, I mean, he already wrote a 3,000 page book on the Church of Satan. But I think this is his way of basically going back to what I consider actually the Satanic Bible. And I actually thought about doing this because I was making fun of EA Coetting again in the comments. I just have to, because the dude is a clown. I mean, the dude is just a fucking clown, right? But if I just put out a book and called it the Book of Empty Pages, an ancient grimoire, and it was just nothing but, and I actually read, Aquino said in the parts that I was able to read on the Amazon preview, he said, if you just have that title alone and nothing but blank pages, it would have sold. And he's right, kind of. At that time, and that place, and that zeitgeist, definitely would have sold. But it wouldn't have held. These two men, meaning the late Anton LaVey and the soon-to-be late Dr. Aquino, they aligned their purposes for a while. And I think this is his reflection. And I don't understand why you would reflect on the Satanic Bible. I don't know when the last time I made a video on this book. But actually, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this. Give me a second. It's telling me I got to, well, you know, my PO tells me I have 36 minutes I have to complete. I still forget what time period I'm in. This is my Satanic Bible. Now, this is something that you're never going to see this again. And I'm going to tell you why. Because they don't make them anymore. This is goatskin bound. Legitimately goatskin bound. It has a slipcase. Obviously, that's what I was struggling to pull out. Pulling out's a struggle, isn't it, guys? Be honest. Nobody wants to pull out. Come on, man. And basically what this is, yeah, and I got to choose. The funny thing is, when this company was up and running, it was called satanicbibles.com. And you could get goat skin, you could get, they had snake skin. I mean, and these were expensive materials. But essentially, it's just a rebind. And of course, you know, with the gilded, but basically we just bought a satanic. I bought the two. I bought the Bible and rituals together. So like, it's the Bible plus the rituals. But you can see it's still all the same fucking stuff. You know what I mean? It's still the same font, everything. You basically, because you can't, and this is, you know, going back to Aquino and his reissue, his 50th anniversary edition, as he calls it, is that you can't basically reprint. This is copyrighted. So this is an art house piece. This is like two books that were basically turned into a work of art. But if you think about it, if you really look at it and think about it for a second, okay, first of all, it's 4 books. It's divided into 4 parts. It's not actually 4 books, even though they're called the book of this, the book of it. It's 4 parts. The first of these is really, really short, and it's plagiarized. The second is the only part of it that I think matters, and that's the book of Lucifer. And this is where Anton LaVey really lays out his philosophy of modern Satanism. I think it's the only part of the book that has any value whatsoever. And then you get into the book of, I believe, Belial, which is all about just like, look, man, if you want a book on ceremonial magic or ritual magic, or, I mean, I'd even probably recommend something by E.A. Koetting over this motherfucker. I mean, it's just primitive. It's time and place. It's what Anton LaVey had access to. And it's just, it sucks. And then you have the book of Leviathan, which is basically the Enochian keys with satanic names inserted instead of angelic names. And again, the Enochian system, I think I made a video, this goes back to the old days, but I think I made a video about that. It's all bullshit. So, well, not bullshit, but cipher. For something different. We don't need to get into that. So you have Aquino, basically, at this point in his life, he's an old man. And he's reflecting, I think, on a time, and again, this guy, he's very nostalgic. If you've ever interacted with him, he'll bring up old movies from like the 1950s, as though they're still relevant. I'm like, dude, have you ever watched a movie from the 1950s? How slow they are, how slow everything is. The world is speeding up. And see, that's the argument that I have always been making. That's my Satanism. My Satanism is the wheel turns, it moves forward, it gets faster, it gets better. That's my Satanism. And that's what I challenged him on in my exchanges with him over at 600. Is that I don't think he really understood that, Anton LaVey was a circus freak. I mean, that's essentially what he was doing. I mean, he was a P.T. Barnum type character. That's, it's a freak show. He wasn't a man of deep thought. He wasn't a man of deep philosophy. Aquino is, but his shit's still fucking like, he has so many fucking like demons, and that's a metaphor, running around in his head. It's not even fucking funny. Because I think that this man genuinely believes, meaning Dr. Aquino, I think he genuinely believes that if that split never happened between the Temple of Set and the Church of Satan, I think he believes that something big would have happened. That the Church of Satan, he kind of saw himself as the successor to LaVey, like the brain behind the image. You know what I mean? And when all that got pulled out from under him, because LaVey was nothing more than a materialist and essentially an Epicurean nihilist, he didn't believe in shit. And he's going back and he's reflecting on what could have been. At least that's what I got from looking at this. So yeah, whatever your name is, thanks for bringing that up. I didn't know, because it is copyrighted 2018, so it's not like I'm like falling behind. And I do peek in on the 600 Club every now and then, and usually what I see is cobwebs, but I didn't see him promoting this at all. He's obviously not You know what's funny is, and this is a true story, when I released Postmodern Satanism, it's actually a pretty short book, especially when you take into account the font size, because I use a large font. I use a large and a small font, but that's neither here nor there. It's a small book. I had originally planned on creating, or it would be a collaboration actually, what I would call, I had actually already done the cover for it. It was gonna, instead of like the cover, okay, like look, hold on. The cover is red, right? So it's gonna be exactly this, except it was gonna be in like a deep blue purple. And it was going to be called the Annotated Scholars Edition. And what I wanted to do at the time, and things just kind of fell apart because the forums and stuff that was going on at that time, it really wasn't as powerful as it could have been. But what I wanted everyone to do was basically to go through and bit by bit comment on postmodern Satanism. And then all of that commentary would be included in kind of like a collaborative work. I even started working on this, just referencing, like, everything would be annotated. Like, one of my favorite books, not favorite books, but, you know, one of the two books that I stole from the public library, Introduction and Notes by Martin Gardner, the Annotated Alice. You can still see that I did steal that. Yeah, but just to go through something and to rip it apart, break it down, and reference it. And I think this is, you know, what Aquino did here. And I don't have the book in front of me, but I did peruse it, and I do know copyright law, so I know that he cannot actually reprint the Satanic Bible that Anton LaVey wrote, which is still property of the Church of Satan or Blanche Barton or whoever owns that. When the whole thing happened, it was like it got split like a couple different ways. But even if it is included in there, like I said, 3/4 of it's bullshit. Well, not 3/4, because the Book of Lucifer is actually a little bit big. The Book of Satan is really, really short, and it's all plagiarized. Well, 99%. How about that? And then, like, you have the Book of Lucifer, which is the rainbow pamphlets. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. If you don't, you don't. Look it up. The rainbow pamphlets. When he was trying to get his shit off the ground, meaning Anton LaVey. And then the last two parts are just garbage. So it's like, if you put any weight in the Satanic Bible other than the name, you're obviously just talking about the Book of Lucifer. And I don't know, but I think this is Michael Aquino's, like, if I didn't know any better, I would say like he's dying or something, because he's reflecting back on his life, and he's looking at something, and he wishes something went a different way at a certain point in time. Because the whole reason that he created the whole Temple of Set and this whole Setian ideology, he wanted Satan. He wanted Satan instead. But Anton LaVey had that market cornered. So he had to go out and waste a lot of his intellect, his formidable intellect. He's a very smart guy, trying to recreate Satanism without Satan. And then hangs out on satanic forums and basically says that Satanists don't know what the fuck, like they're nihilists, they don't have. But look, dude, bro, I mean, you just failed. Postmodern Satanism, I mean, it's not a New York Times bestseller. Don't get me wrong. But I redefined Satanism. I redefined it in a positive way. It's no boogeyman anymore. Well, it could be. I mean, if you think about it that way. That's something that he never did. And I think this is like his swan song. But that's just my opinion. I'll probably order it. I mean, it's fuck. You know, Amazon's awesome, but I really miss Borders Books. I used to go to Borders Books all the time, and I could get lost in a Borders Books for like 5 hours. I'd just get lost in that motherfucker. And you don't have that anymore, but with Amazon you have everything and it's one click. But yeah, all you kind of get is a preview. Based on the preview that I saw, based on what I saw, this is him reflecting on the book, the Satanic Bible, which to me is a somewhat unremarkable book, written or stolen, plagiarized, half, quarter, whatever, by a very savvy man, but a huckster nonetheless. Somebody that didn't have a metaphysics. Somebody that didn't have a true ontology of what a Satan would be. I'd say he was born 10 years too early, but maybe it was 10 years too late. Who the fuck knows? But yeah, so the Satanic Bible 50th anniversary reflection, I believe is what it's called. Reflection, which means, it's copyright. He can't fucking, even though Anton LaVey stole shit, he can't steal the stolen shit from Anton LaVey's estate or whoever owns it. I don't know, maybe he does. But from what I saw, it seemed like that he was trying to not do that. So, but hey, whatever. Interesting. Good find. Thanks for bringing that up. And I only have like 14 minutes left. I need to start deleting videos. Like I said, I have this little like diary that I've been keeping about debate prep. Just thoughts running through my head and shit that I'm going to post probably after the debate. You know. But they were all made prior. And I'm running out of fucking space on my phone. That fucking sucks. I need to start deleting some shit. I'm not very good with that kind of space management. But anywho, yeah, there we go. I think I did my time for today. Maybe. Did I? I don't know. I'm weird.